Hey, Kent Wallace and Mark Davidheiser here with VisionWorks Consulting and talking about the season of gratitude. We believe that January should be your season, that you're really focusing on your constituency, your volunteers, your board members, and showing them true appreciation for their service without an agenda. So last week we were talking about the dark side of thank you. Well, we're going to kind of build on that a little bit more and talk about the butter up. The butter up.
The butter up.
Maybe you don't know what that is unless you've had teenagers. If you got teenagers in your house that are reached the driving age, maybe you'd know more what we're talking about. Mark, have you ever had that experience with the butter up?
Yes. And the butter up, kids are bright. The butter up starts earlier than that, but my memory goes to the teenage years as well. My youngest daughter, I'll go ahead and throw her under the bus. She is the sweetest, period. And she sweetly would butter me up. And then she didn't even need to ask. So this is what you might picture the scenario. Oh, Dad. Oh, thanks so much for picking me up at school and coming to my program last week. And some friends and I are going out. And you're ready for the ask. Here's the ask. She's not just being sweet because she wants to be sweet.
Right.
She wants something from it. The classic butter up. And we see it time and time again.
Right.
As it comes to us as parents, but as donors.
Yeah.
And we need to be careful that we separate that when we go out.
Yeah, I one of my favorite ones that I get fairly regularly is I get the thank you note and for the gift I just gave with the appeal letter right behind it. It's like, this is just one continuous thought. Like, thanks for the gift and give us some more. And there's just no separation. No, like the communication is always, can you give more? Can you give more? And no understanding that these are actually two different activities. It's like the gifting, the receiving, and then the appreciation for the gift that's given is a separate action. It needs to be drawn, the line drawn where you're not just, so that every communication doesn't become an ask.
Right. And I know you've been in connection with your constituents at the end, at year end, but that's when many of them are giving.
Mm-hmm.
And so you might have thanked them, along the way, but now it's a thanks alone, period. Mm-hmm. And no other motivation.
Yeah, that's why we're talking about January being the season of gratitude. Just dedicate the month to saying thank you to every one of your constituencies. And I would even throw staff in there. It's like, are you thanking those people that are vocationally deciding to serve the kingdom? Because they're doing it for somewhere between 30 to 40% less than what they would get paid if they took those same skills into the secular workplace. And so everybody is giving in your community. Everybody is giving as volunteers, as a board member. These are all givers. And creating a season of gratitude where you're just looking for different ways and opportunities to creatively engage and thank somebody. So butter up. Any other examples? Mark?
I think there are a lot of creative ways to properly thank someone. But I'm going to step out of the nonprofit world for a second, because I heard this story last week on a podcast, and it was being told by Bob Gruen, who is a professional photographer who is very involved in the music industry. And back in the day, he is just becoming known. And what he liked to do was go around to events and just take pictures of the celebrities, of the stars interacting just with people, and not when they're up on stage, but just when they're interacting. And one of his pictures caught the attention of John Lennon and Yoko Ono because they were just in a casual interaction. And so he crossed paths with them. He goes, he heard that they loved that photo, and he says, I want to drop it by because I live in your neighborhood in New York City. And I'm sure they probably heard that line a million times. They go, and so John Lennon kind of casually answers, oh yeah, you live in my neighborhood, you're a neighbor. just slide it under the door. And so Bob Gruen brought the photo by, and he was just going to drop it off. But he rang the doorbell, knocked on the door. Somebody else answered the door, and he said, "Here, I said I was going to bring this photo by, and thanks." And he left. And much time passed, and he crossed paths with Yoko Ono again, and she said, "Oh, we love that photo. Thanks so much for dropping it by. We have it framed on the wall and in our office." And she says, "But you know what? Nobody just drops something off."
Right. That's right.
And so by just being more concerned about the other person than you are about yourself and your business, he set himself apart. But more than that, that was his true motivation.
Right.
He wanted to build into his people and
Yep.
the people he was photographing, and not just look out for himself.
Yeah.
And I think the line of "no one just drops something off," the rest of the story is you really do set yourself apart if with no other motivation, you're looking to build them up, encourage them, and go, "Wow, thanks so much," period. And the rest of the story with Bob Gruen was John Lennon's contacts and Yoko Ono's contacts in the music industry just catapulted his career. And he wasn't manipulating that.
Right.
It happened because he was gracious.
Yeah, it wasn't his motivation, but that was the result of his gracious.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key, is like when your motives are right, when you really just want to go and thank somebody, and that's all you want to do, the recipient knows that. They get it. They realize, and that's going back to what Mark says, is it's what separates you from everybody else. Because everybody else is doing this because sometimes it's because what we're supposed to do. I'm supposed to thank you because of this gift, so then I can get to the next task. And when you pause for a minute and actually treat people like human beings and understand who they really are and what's going on, it really does separate you from everybody else.
And a side note on this is, so in building a relationship, meet people when you don't have an ask. You might meet them when you have a thank you, but look to meet them as a friend too, and just stop by, just give them a call.
Right.
And this is something I learned a lot from Kent in reminding me of is that you just need to build that friendship, build that relationship, because they're special.
Yeah.
Not for any not ulterior reason.
Right. Absolutely. And taking advantage of this season of giving, I mean, really, and excuse me, of appreciation after the season of giving, which is really the end of the year. It gives you really a completely transparent opportunity just to show how much you appreciate what they've done for you to set you up for last year and get you through the especially 2020, what we just gone through. Well, I'm Kent Wallace. This is Mark David Heiser. We're the VisionWorks Consulting. We'd love to help you, talk to you about some strategies, even when it comes to how you can show appreciation to your constituency. So visit us at www.visionworks.us or call us at 269-686-7785. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon.